He goes. Where's the clerk?
For the safe return.
Hold it, gotta wait for the clerk. Gotta wait for the clerk. I'm sorry, I didn't realize that.
Just,
Here she comes.
oh, I was gonna take over for you.
I'm here, I'm just not
Sorry.
here.
Okay.
I know how that feels.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Today is July 27th, 2015. As soon as you're seated, may I have roll call?
Aaron? Here. Caprows?
Here.
Whalen?
Here.
Coleman?
Here.
Basil?
Here.
Meyer? Here.
We have the minutes from July 13th. Any additions, corrections, changes? If not, is there a motion?
So moved.
Second.
There's a motion on the floor and there was a second. Any questions on the motion?
Are we changing something with the appointments?
It's on my report.
Okay, sorry.
Roll call.
Aaron? Yes. Caprows?
Yes.
Whalen?
Yes.
Coleman?
Yes.
Basil?
Yes.
Meyer? Yes.
Is it easier for you to remember now?
No, it's fine.
All right. Anyone from the audience wish to address the board?
Will you repeat that?
If not, finance administration, Trustee Meyer.
Audit, there's field work on the audit nearing completion, and the audit will be released October 1st for consideration at the first meeting in October. 5-year financial plan process is set to begin. We're going right into the 5-year financial planning process. The Public Works Committee will have to meet and discuss their plans for the next 5 years so they can be incorporated into the plan, which will be released approximately around Thanksgiving. The annual treasurer's report was published in the newspaper in the first week in July. And Illinois Personnel Benefits Cooperative Status. On July 1st, our new health insurance rates went into effect. At the end of the plan year, the Eastern Will County Benefits Cooperative Subpool had $1,276,424 in reserves. Of this amount, the Village of Beecher had $111,398 in reserves contained in the self-funded pool. And there are dashboards enclosed. That ends my report.
Public buildings and properties, parks and recreation. Scott Lee.
Yeah, update on the vandalism in the village parks. I know Buddy's not here. Do you have anything, Chief?
I
Vandalism?
have nothing to add.
We ordered the replacement parts.
Right, replacement parks, they're not,
I don't
correct?
believe so.
Okay, but they're gonna be fixed, so the kids can continue to swing. Buddy bench update, I know that if you look around the village, there's buddy benches throughout. I know there's one at the Water Tower Park. There's one right over here in Buddy's. There's one up on, was it Prairie Crossing? And I believe there's one out in Nantucket Cove. So they've been busy as far as putting out the buddy benches. So if you see them around, can't miss them. They're little benches that are mounted in the concrete and in the mulch areas. They were installed in the mulch areas just for the fact that it's easier to maintain as far as mowing and trimming and everything else. So you'll see those out there. Fireman's One ball field lighting project is complete, and the grant has been received, and it's closed.
The grant's been closed out, but I have not received the final check yet, unless Jeanette got it recently.
Okay, so we're still waiting for to check, but the ball field is lit, and they're doing great. So that ends my report.
Planning, building and zoning.
Building Department update report was enclosed for your review. Results of the Planning and Zoning Committee meeting, I wasn't able to attend. Bob, can you give us an update
Yeah,
on item 2 and 3, please?
On item 2, Bill DeYoung received a date for public hearing, which will be Thursday, August 20th at 7 o'clock, regarding his request for the display of agricultural equipment on the vacant lot across the street. He proposed a drainage plan, which will improve the drainage of the area to the west. He had a planned entrance off of Route 1, which is the existing stone driveway, and cleaning up the property. In fact, he's mowing it now, so it's being a lot better maintained than it used to be. That public hearing will be August 20th, which is the third Thursday of the month, 7. were some concerns regarding getting a quorum on the 27th, so we have a meeting on the 20th, at 7 o'clock. As far as the nursing home goes, we have the engineer here tonight, but we have the blueprints already done and approved, but we had not gotten a engineering approval letter yet, because we've been through 2 reviews already on the project, we still can't get it resolved. So we're gonna have a meeting at Baxter-Women's office next week with their engineer and their architect to get the issues resolved. Ray might not even know about that, but we're working on that. They also have to pay us a little more money for engineering review to get the project complete. So that's where we are with that. Everything's ready to go with the exception of the site plan.
And they're gonna start shortly thereafter. once approved.
They're itching to go now, but they can't until we get the engineering resolved, which is the detention and the water service and the hydrant locations and things like that we're still working
Considering an ordinance amending the municipal code for a 5-foot setback for pools. The village zoning ordinance and our handout specify 5-foot setback. For some reason, municipal code states that the setback for pools is 10 feet. We had a resident that had pointed out this conflict in our code, and since the pool requires a fence or 48-inch barrier, it does not really matter if the setback is 5 or 10 feet. So I'd like to make a motion adopting ordinance number
1229.
1229, amending the municipal code for a 5-foot setback for pools.
There's a motion on the floor, is there a second?
Second.
Now, does this, can we,
Questions?
does this take into consideration the easements? Because a lot of times the easements are running in the backyard.
on. Yeah, you can't build the structure in the easement technically.
So it'd be 5 feet off of that easement yet,
No, 5 foot off the line, but out of the easement.
out of the easement.
That's why we require plats of survey to be submitted with these pools.
Okay,
Pools, fences, everything needs a plat of survey. They have to be outside the easement. So if it's a 7.5 foot easement, then the pool's gotta be 7.5 foot off the line.
So it's not 5 feet from the easement?
No, it's 5 foot from the property line unless there's an easement there.
right.
Any other questions? Roll call.
Meyer,
Yes.
Basil,
Yes.
Coleman,
Yes.
Whaling,
Yes.
Capros,
Yes.
Aaron's, yes. And that is my report.
Thank you. Public Safety Committee, Trustee Coleman.
Yeah, Police Department monthly report and code enforcement monthly report are enclosed for your review. Results of security issues over the 4th weekend, Chief?
It seems we had a very eventful 4th of July. There was nothing really major to report. There was a few minor incidents that occurred. Our investigators worked and cleared those incidents up afterwards. We provided traffic control. We didn't have outside help this year for traffic control after the 4th. So we utilized our own staff. We had 3 cars out there and a total of 4 officers. And I think traffic moved pretty good. I don't know, maybe it's just an observation of mine, but I thought the way the carnival was set up this year, it kind of created a gap in downtown. We were able to move freely along Penfield, whereas in the past when Penfield was open, that would bottleneck with traffic. So maybe that kind of helped out with traffic.
Okay, thank you, Chief.
Does the police department have any issues if the carnival were to be relocated in the same spot? Would there be any issues with the police or public safety?
No, at this point, I think it worked out pretty good. I do. I have no issues with it. Like I said, traffic-wise, the only thing would be parking. We'd probably really have to think about parking. Maybe designate some more handicap spots or something to that
We're
effect.
working with a plan on that.
It would
did
work.
that How did that work in front of the post office, you know, because those spots you have to come in from the west, and they're angled. Were people pulling in straight and then backing out?
Yes, they were.
So that double yellow line wasn't a factor?
No,
Okay.
it wasn't. On the 4th, we actually closed that down. That was for emergency vehicle parking. We did allow handicap parking to come in there and also some motorcycle parking. But that was only on the night of the 4th, like right after the parade.
You didn't let them go any further than the alley then? Is that what you're saying?
They could go further. We blocked it off at Woodward Street
Okay.
so that we had ample room for parking. All the Will County auxiliary came down. They came down with like 6 people and a couple cars, and that helped out well. We set up parking for them so they could have parking there also.
Okay, thank you. Results of regional ESDA meeting to discuss a regional plan to be provided. Bob?
Yes, the Will County is toying with the idea of creating a regional civil, I don't want to use the word civil defense, emergency management operations plan that would involve Crete, Park Forest, University Park, Monet, Beecher, Peatone. Park Forest is still involved in it, but there's some discussion as to Cook County's protocols versus Will County. And that's why South Heights and Stager, even though they're in our EastCom dispatch center, are not going to be involved in the regional plan. But they want to have a regional plan because these are mutual aid departments that would come in and assist on a major case. Not a bad idea, and our individual plans would also be maintained, but there would also be a regional plan. I think that's a work in progress. It's probably going to be at least a year before they pull it off. That's it for that.
Thank you. Mosquito abatement update, nobody here from?
They are spraying every Thursday night, weather permitting. If weather does not allow them to spray on Thursday night, they will go on Friday night. That way we'll spray for the weekend. I know over the 4th, they sprayed, for a 2-week period, they were spraying every 3rd night because the bug count was extremely heavy during the 4th of July. Right now, the counts are going down, but the West Nile mosquito is the one that's of concern right now. That's a dry weather mosquito that carries that virus. So we will continue spraying.
Consider a motion authorizing a letter to be sent to IDOT requesting the posting of signs for no left turns on Dixie north of Church Road. Northbound left turn movements into Case but second driveway are very dangerous and can cause accidents for several different angles. There's a left turn arrow at the stoplight, and people can pull into K's from this direction. The police department is asking the board for support for a letter to be sent to IDOT requesting a no left turn sign to be installed on the car's right of way to address this issue. Any questions on this?
Who would the sign be? There's so much going on there. How are people
Yeah, I
gonna?
know.
There is, additionally, to make it work, they'd need some sort of barrier, temporary barrier along the center line, like they do with the no horn, the train horn zones. They have those
Right.
plastic things.
Right.
They're not gonna damage your car, but at least it sets a barrier. And the problem is, we experience this every year with directing traffic on the 4th of July. If people stop at the last minute and they want to turn left in the shell, and that backs everything up, that just bottlenecks traffic. We've had them stop and turn left in the shell. A motorcycle was rear-ended there. This was many years ago, but he was injured pretty good. It's something we'd like to see done. I'd like to even see that entrance only be either an entrance into Shell from the north, and then an exit going south.
Yeah,
Anything would help, but that is a problem, and I never understood. To me, it's common sense. You've got an arrow.
Right.
Pull on the church road and get in, because now you gotta cross a turn lane and the southbound lane of traffic, and there isn't a turn lane for you, so you bottleneck all the traffic there.
You gotta remember, that place was built before there was a traffic light there.
It was,
Yeah.
And the whole parking lot is, it's difficult to get
yeah.
through there, you know? That's why people wanna go to that other.
well, something, I don't know what IDOT will do. They might do a traffic study, or they might say more enforcement. Even putting a sign up, we just might end up doing more enforcement. I go out to Dyer and I see it all the time. They have the same thing, no left turn. And they have a median there, and people just jump the median and make that left turn, because it's not gonna stop them. So that's why I thought maybe a barrier, maybe they could do something, maybe we can work with Circle K with that entrance that's off of Route 1, because so much has changed since that was originally put in, and that was before I was here, so we're talking over 27 years ago.
That was the only thing out there. Car wash wasn't even there.
No. But it does create problems now.
Now, correct me if I'm wrong, Chief, there's a double yellow line there, correct?
Yes,
So it is against the law for somebody to turn there?
not to pull into a private drive, it's not. You can't make a left-hand turn over a double yellow for on-street parking, but you can to go into a private drive, an alley, or a street.
So we need this sign for you to be able to enforce anything with it,
Yes.
is what you're saying?
Okay, consider a motion authorizing a letter be sent to IDOT requesting the posting of signs for no left turns on Dixie north of Church Road. I'd like to make a motion.
There's a motion on the floor, is there a second?
I'll second.
A second, any questions or motion? Roll call.
Aaron's,
Yes.
Caperos.
Yes.
Whalen.
Yes.
Coleman.
Yes.
Basil.
Yes.
Meyer.
Yes.
Village denied a ComEd NSC grant for installation of generator. Other grant opportunities will now be pursued for this project. It will cost $10,000 to connect an existing generator to the village hall and $20,000 to connect an existing generator to the police station. Any comments on this?
Just so you know, we're looking at alternatives already, not gonna be doing some research.
It's not gonna be easy. There's not a lot of money out there.
Chief, any comments?
I have nothing else unless anybody had any questions over the 4th or.
Any problems with the rodeos that have been going on the last couple of weekends? Everything's pretty
No.
bad out there?
Yeah.
No questions of the chief or myself? That completes my report.
Public Works Committee trustee report.
Water Department and Sewer Department monthly reports are enclosed for your review, along with the water billing register for the months of May and June, also enclosed for your review. Items 4, 5, and 6, I'm gonna table those till our next, till Buddy's here to be able to report on those. Item 7, banner change from the 4th of July to summer design is underway. Safe routes to school grant update, Bob, you attended a
Yeah,
meeting.
we had a conference call with Schaumburg, with the feds. Trustee Basil was there representing the Public Works Committee in that conference call. And it was almost comical, but I'm glad I didn't drive up there, 2.5 hour drive for that 18-minute meeting that occurred. And we're still on target for an April letting.
Village receives 5-year operating permit for the wastewater treatment plant. This is great news. Not forced in the coming years to make modifications to the plant. However, our average daily flows are exceeding maximum daily design flows of the plant, and this needs to be addressed prior to 2020. Bob, is there anything you want to add to that? I know
We don't have a gun to our head now, which is good news. I was seriously concerned that that permit was gonna come with some conditions, ultraviolet lighting being one of them, and then we would be forced to spend money now instead of wrapping it up into a major loan project 5 years from now, which is our goal. So that, to me, is good news. And we'll get our old loan paid off before we have to spend any more of that money.
we had actually planned on DUP, right?
Yes, we did.
And the
Now we can do it as part of the loan,
That was in our 5-year plan, wasn't it?
because I figured we'd have to do it.
Okay. Item 10, consider an engineering services agreement in the amount of $50,000 with Baxter and Woman for a Phase 1 feasibility study for the expansion and rehab of the Beecher wastewater treatment plant. This project was budgeted using water and sewer debt service funds. It was discussed by the Public Works Committee, Finance Committee, and it was also discussed at the Village Board budget workshop. When the plan is approved by the EPA in 2017 or 18, we will then be required to implement it within 5 years. That puts us right on target with our financing plan, as Bob was just saying, for the whole IEPA loan to be done and paid off. The financing plan is also kind of included for your review, just basically a strum up of that. We have our representative here from Beecher Woman, Ray, if there's anything you wanted to add to that, or?
Not unless anybody has any questions, it's, it's a standard document you have to have in place to get a loan down the road, so, I think that's summarized.
We did do it in '04, but by the time the EPA got to reviewing that plan, the economic recession hit, and we tabled all that work at that time. So we're going to dust that thing off, and we have to update it because the regs have changed significantly since '04.
Yeah, like I said, I mean, this should be pretty cut and dry. The project is budgeted, it was discussed in our budget workshop, it was budgeted for this year, so I'll go ahead and I'll make a motion to enter in with the engineering services agreement in the amount of $50,000 with Baxter and Newman for a phase 1 feasibility study for the expansion and rehab of the Beecher wastewater treatment plant.
Motion on the floor, is there a second?
Second.
Second, any questions to the motion? Roll call.
Meyer,
Yes.
Basil,
Yes.
Coleman,
Yes.
Whalen,
Yes.
Capros,
Yes.
Aaron,
Yes.
Consider an engineering services agreement not to exceed $101,000 for the design, IEPA permit and loan application and construction observation for the Penfield water main replacement project. The water main replacement program now extends from Dixie Highway to Reed Street. Revenue from the new increase in the water rates will help pay for this project. This project is not on target for an August 2016 bid award.
Is now, excuse me, it is on target.
It is.
Yes.
Okay, this makes it a fall 2016 project. Please see the enclosed agreement. The idea was to try to get this even sooner, but with things that happens that it will be in the fall of 2016. Many of you remember this goes way, way back when we went for an IEP loan in 2011. This was originally
Shovel-ready project.
yeah, partially designed back then. We did extend it, as I said, to Reed Street. Previously it had ended at Woodward. So a little larger scope, but it along comes with, you know, all the reconstruction of the road and everything else in one big swoop. So, does anyone have any questions?
Just one comment, the same thing that happened back in 2011 or whatever year it was, is as we were getting it ready to go, the rules kept changing. Okay, the same thing's happening again now, where we could go out for a 30-year loan, which started the whole process, which we were ecstatic about it. Now we can only get a 20-year loan, so they're already changed the rules on us again. So basically, we should, if we're ready to go, and we need to get it done, otherwise the rules are gonna change and we may not get it done again. So we need to keep pushing forward, which trustee Forrest has been saying all along, so.
I agree. So I'll go ahead and make a motion, for an engineering services agreement not to exceed $101,000 for the design, IEPA permit and loan application, and construction observation for the Penfield water main replacement project.
Second.
The motion on the floor, and there was a second. Any questions of the motion?
One comment. The creek, are we going jack casing or are we going across the bridge exposed pipe? That was the only outstanding issue we had left.
Right.
And is there any preference of the board? What did we think we could do? Just go with the way it is now and just run the main right across the top?
It's up to you guys, I don't know that.
Let's leave that up to Buddy, but I think he's gonna say run it across the top.
As is, yeah.
Because if you run it underneath the creek with
And
the
something
jack
happens,
casing,
yeah.
A, you're spending 50 grand more, and B, if you ever have to fix it, it's really a pain.
Yeah, I thought that's what we decided in the one meeting we had.
I couldn't
Yeah,
remember.
so too.
I just wanna clarify that this is with Baxter and Woodman, you didn't say that in the motion.
Yes.
Yes.
Right, Aaron,
Yes.
Capros,
Yes.
Whalen,
Yes.
Coleman,
Yes.
Basil,
Yes.
Meyer,
Yes.
That concludes my report.
Yeah, excuse me. Under Fairway Drive resurfacing, I see signs out there for about a week already that They're resurfacing the road, and I drove down it tonight, I haven't seen anything happen yet.
Yeah, Buddy's in contact with them, I'm sure it's weather issues with just where we're at in order in line.
Yeah.
I know it's coming right up.
I can explain that. They usually sub out the signage, and the subcontractor is given a date to put the signs out. But that doesn't mean that the field guys are ready to do it that day. So a lot of times they'll get out there a week or two with the signage before the project actually starts. We were told in the bid status meeting that the last week of July they planned on starting. I think, Frank, weren't you there at that meeting? Did they say that they were gonna start the last week of July,
Yes.
which would be this week? So we'll see.
It'll be done by the end of August,
Yeah.
Who's doing that?
late August.
European paving.
Anything else for public works? Okay, Economic development, trustee Beecher.
Gold Street, building update to be provided by the village president or administrator.
I'll let Bob handle that.
We have 3 buildings, it's our understanding that up the street, Teapots and Weymouth Hardware has been purchased by Bill Solomon. And he plans on doing a ceramic shop on the first floor of the Weymouth Hardware with a rental apartment upstairs. And if you know those buildings, a lot of work's gonna be required before they can do that. He has blueprints that were drawn up by Mike Stanula and a permit approved by our department for that work, by our building department. So that work is in progress. Up the street's gonna be a rehab. They're going to plan on redoing that building and opening up a tavern or sports bar kind of thing and up the street again, which I think was somewhere in time before the fire. But a lot of people know it's up the street, or Farmers Inn, or whatever it was called before. Then with Teapots, he's planning on possibly joining the 2 buildings with a walkway. And then Teapots might be a restaurant in atmosphere. And it would be connected to the bars, like utilize the same kitchen for both. And I think there's places in Lowell and Cedar Lake that are very similar where they connected buildings like that in their downtown for the same business. So that's the plan. We'll have to give them a little time. It's gonna be a project of labor and of love. And he already has the cement poured now, so.
And there was activity in the other 2 buildings as well, as we've seen the doors open.
The Waymovers?
No, somewhere in time when it was up the street, okay, and then, Teapot, there's been activity there where somebody's had the doors open and been inside.
What's happening next door to that, to the Waymovers, with the plywood up front?
He's rehabbing it, he's poured the concrete,
He's poured the floor. That old lean-to where the lumber used to be stored at the hardware
Right.
is now a cement floor. And he's jacking up the building on that cement floor and footing. And he's
So that's gonna be part of the whole, they're all gonna be attached?
not attached, but the same person is working on all 3. The 2 buildings may be attached. In fact, at one time, there was a restaurant in Chicago called Stefanos. And in the very early days, there were 2 houses next to each other. The one house was the kitchen, and it literally handed to the window to the restaurant portion of it, which is similar to what, saying. So if we allow that, or when we get to that point.
What are the plans for the lean-to part, or the,
It's the ceramic.
that's the ceramic?
Well, actually, the ceramic shop is in the original hardware
It's gonna
store.
be a-
That lean-to is gonna be like a gallery or something.
The last time we talked, it was supposed to be like open space. I'll call it open space. And when I say that, is that if he wants to have on a Saturday a consignment day, or is there an artist day, or there was even a thought of leaving it open that if somebody wanted to rent it for a wedding or a reception, and there's a courtyard in the back, they would consider doing that. So it was open for many different things. And at that time, it was sort of glad that he had that plan, because we were approached by a couple people who did want to have paintings or consignments on the weekends or something like that, and we had no place for it. And then he came in with this plan that fit in with that an individual, maybe be able to host their painting classes or painting parties or whatever you want to call it, or a consignment, days, whatever. So it may be a very nice thing for that area if in fact, everything does come through. Just further discussion of these 3 buildings is, just remember that if in fact these buildings are rehabbed and they begin to open up again at some point in time, and I think John is being the Public Works Committee, is we have to also begin to invest in that downtown, making repairs to the like a wrought iron railing to go up on that side, raised sidewalk, a light fixture, the light fixtures downtown, or, we may have to begin to look at plan for that down the road, if these buildings are done. And we've always said we would once it was done, so.
Aren't there things with the sewer lines and water lines and everything else, because some of those buildings were never hooked up, were they?
Yeah.
The
Yeah,
the ones he has have water, I believe.
No, Wim Hoffer
Doesn't.
Never
Wim
had
Hoffer has
sewer.
water hookup in the back that he has to hook up to, because there was a line brought to the property line, it's just that the previous owner never connected it.
Okay.
And then the sewers, also, the sewer's in the back, the water has to come out the front, that's what it is, the sewer stuff is in the back. So water and sewer can be accessed for the building, and he knows what he's doing, so he understands the cost and what's all involved. So in other words, he's planning it out before he starts a
And
project.
I think Buddy's already been out there.
And the other two have,
Yes.
Teapots and.
So hopefully keep our fingers crossed.
All right, consider a motion authorizing an amendment to the personnel manual pertaining to social media. This new policy will be made as a regulation for employees and as a guide for elected officials. Since it is an amendment to the personnel manual, a motion is required. The policy is enclosed for your review. So I'd like to make a motion authorizing an amendment to the personnel manual pertaining to social media.
Motion on the floor, and there is a second. Any questions on the motion? Roll call.
Meyer,
Yes.
Basil,
Yes.
Coleman,
Yes.
Whaling,
Yes.
Capros,
Yes.
Aaron.
Yes.
All right, the village newsletter is right around the corner. Does anyone have any topics of interest they would like to covered in the newsletter? Just let us know.
It was a nice way to say think about it.
Yeah, think about it. That ends my report.
Okay, thank you. This Thursday, from 10 to 12, State Representative L.G. Sims will be holding office hours here. Anybody that can attend, it'd be nice if we could, you could do that. Offer that to our village residents as well, that anybody that would like to come in and speak with the State Representative Sims about any topics that they have in mind, please do so. Thereafter, he will be visiting a couple businesses in town as well. One of them is Beecher Manor, and the other one is Dutch American Foods. And there may be another one yet, we don't know yet. But he's taking the time to come out here and speak with us. I saw him about 2 weeks ago. So he'll be here holding office hours, so again, if anybody can make it, come on in. Same thing with the residents, please come on in and speak with them. At 10 to 12. And here at the Village Hall. About, on July 18th, myself, the village clerk, trustee Basil, my wife and several other people had the pleasure of going to Open Soil Ranch for a rodeo. And it is a nationwide rodeo, and it was held here for their finals, semifinals, case may be. And then Senator Sandoval, did I get it right? Okay, Sandoval was there, and Lieutenant Governor Sanguinetti was there the following day. It's pretty impressive if you haven't ever gone to that. It's what they do and how they do it, pretty interesting. I was proud to have the governor there, as well as Senator Sandoval. I don't know why, but I keep messing up his name, but anyways. And we learned quite a bit about the rodeo. It was a pleasure to be there. If we have the opportunity to be there again, I encourage you to go and see what goes on there. And like I said, the governor rode on his motorcycle, which, okay, he rode on his motorcycle, and then he left on his motorcycle. So we were there for about 2 hours. So it was a good time. And I expressed my appreciation to the ranch itself, because they treated us like we were dignitaries, I guess. Very nice thing. As part of the Old County Governmental League, as far as the executive board, they're asking if the executive board can make a trip to Washington DC to lobby at the federal level, which they've asked me if I would go with them since I'm on the executive board. That'll be in September, and the whole executive board, I believe, is going, everyone, if I remember right.
I was on the board for 15 years and never got to go to DC. I think it's a great opportunity to have a city of Beecher be able to go to Washington and lobby on behalf of our residents. So I think it would be in our best interest to find this $1,200, even though we're on quote-unquote a spending freeze right now, to get this done and allow the mayor to go to DC and lobby with this group. It pays long-run dividends. It really does. It's hard to explain, but it does.
Just let everyone know, hopefully you'll support me in going.
Absolutely.
We'll have a party when you're leaving.
Send out party.
The staff will be happy.
My wife might be happy. Thank you. At the last village board meeting, where the motion was made to approve the minutes, we did not realize that the actual list of appointments for that day that was included in the minutes was incorrect. The correct list for that particular day was included in your packet, and it was dated the June 22nd meeting. Okay, for the appointments, everybody understand what we're doing?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so therefore I would need a motion to recorrect those minutes.
So moved.
Second.
And there's a second. Any questions to the motion? Roll call.
Aaron,
Yes.
Caprows,
Yes.
Whalen.
Yes.
Coleman.
Yes.
Basil,
Yes.
Meyer.
Yes.
Okay, there are already going to be some changes to that list, but the list isn't complete. Some commissioners have resigned. There was one we did forget that night. In fact, maybe that one I would ask to be added to the list tonight. That would be Jan Van Ramshorn to the Beautification Commission. And she was actually omitted by error. So I asked a motion to support the appointment.
So moved.
So motion made, and a second. Any questions of that motion? Roll call.
Meyer,
Yes.
Basil,
Yes.
Coleman,
Yes.
Whalen.
Yes.
Caprows.
Yes.
Aaron.
Yes.
And there was no actual, I believe I mentioned it that night, but trustee Aaron will still be the liaison with the planning and zoning commission that they were listed on the list. So when the new list comes out with the changes that we're gonna make with the future commissions, but that'll all be listed there. Intergovernmental meeting is scheduled for August 26th at 7 p.m. at the Washington Township Center. I hope everybody can attend there. We intend to bring up the 4th of July celebration with other governmental bodies there, so we can discuss the 4th of July and begin to plan for next year where it's going to be located at. And at the end of new business, I'd like to ask for an executive session to discuss land acquisition. We can do so at that time. Any other old business?
Yeah, we have the clerk's report. I think we have to.
Did I miss that? You weren't here. Sorry about that.
It's not much to it, just the tax income receipts since the last meeting, $250,072.62.
No gaming tax for the mayor.
Not yet, though,
And income tax, is that one payment?
that's one payment.
Jeez. Okay.
My apologies. Thank you. Any new business? I have one thing, if you haven't noticed by our flags out front, there was a driving the Dixie sign, and if you didn't take a look at it, I did look at it, because it's pretty impressive. At some of the pictures that are there and the history that was there, and I think that sign belongs there amongst our flags along Dixie Highway, so if you haven't looked at it. From what I understand, the A's Are Us, which is basically the driving force for driving the Dixie, paid for that particular sign. We just had to install it. And then they're working on plans, Beautification Commission is thinking of plans to possibly flowerize it, I guess you would call it, flowers there in the future. So, soon.
And I apologize for the typos that were in some of the reports tonight. The mayor and I will do a better job proofreading.
I had one of these circled that you didn't fix it.
It's possible.
Any other new business? I'd ask for a motion to adjourn,
So moved.
to adjourn to executive session for the purpose of land acquisition.
So moved.
Second.
Motion made in second. Questions of motion? Roll call.
Aaron,
Yes.
Caprows.
Yes.
Whalen.
Yes.
Coleman.
Yes.
Basil.
Yes.
Meyer.
Yes.
Staff